Do you ever feel guilty for not finishing a game? There are a lot of games that I wish I would have finished, just like there are a lot of books I wish I would have read. Some examples are, and people are going to come after me for this, I have never finished The Witcher 3, The Witcher 2, or The Witcher 1 video games. I've read the books, but I've never finished the games, and I know I would love to have finished them. I just fell off for one reason or another. Maybe I get distracted by another game, maybe I felt overwhelmed, maybe I stopped playing games for a while, whatever it was. I never finished playing the game, and there's a lot of games like that. I've never finished Cyberpunk 2077. I've never finished some older games. Like one series that I know if I had played when I was younger would be one of my favorites is Metal Gear Solid. I've played a little bit of Snake Eater, and that's it. I tried it on the PlayStation Vita, and it was numbingly hard. I was not familiar with the series or the way stealth espionage action works, so I was getting rolled, and I was like, I guess this is not my type of game. I don't know. But the story was just so good. I ended up watching the movie on YouTube for the first 3 games and started the 4th, and I was like, man, these are great storylines, like a lot of good quotes in them, things that I'll remember forever. Stuff like that. And one game that I actually went back and played, I forced myself to, is Kingdom Come Deliverance. I knew it was my type of game. I have pored over medieval manuscripts as part of some of my studies in the past, so I love that aesthetic, and I love medieval history, so this was my game. When I saw the Kickstarter announced so many years ago, I was ecstatic, and I got the game as a Christmas present. I played it religiously for maybe 30, 40 hours, and I got to this point where I suppose I was overwhelmed or something with just how much time it took to do everything, and so I set the game down, and I didn't pick it up again until the announcement for the second game. And I said to myself, I want to play this game. It's important to me. I know that it's going to be a good game. It's definitely my type of game. So I'm going to pick it up again, start from the beginning, and play all the way to the end. And by golly, I did. I picked up the game, and it took me maybe 100 hours to beat it from start to finish. Now it's one of my most favorite games of all time. It's janky, it's slow going, but just like Red Dead Redemption 2, it is a masterpiece of storytelling. It's immersive. It gives more than the cost of entry. It's more than worth it in terms of price. But there's a lot of games on my list that I wish I would have played. And then I think about it. I think about my life. I only have a few hours a week to play video games. I've got a full-time job. I have a family, a loving wife. I've got friends that I want to spend time with. And I'm not always playing games. I maybe play games for an hour a day at most. Some days I don't. Most days I don't. Actually, sometimes I might choose reading, or maybe I might watch YouTube videos or something for my free time, and I end up not playing any games, and that's okay. But if I added it up, if I put the hours of my life into an hourglass and looked at it from a mortal perspective, most of our life is spent sleeping. We spend the other vast majority of our life at work or commuting to and from work, eating, all the mundane activities of our modern lives. And then the time that we have to spend with entertainment or engaging in creative activities, creative ventures like what I'm doing right now, is limited. Let's add this up right now. Let's say I started playing games when I was, 15 years old, and I lived to 80 years old. So I got 65 years, to play games, but I don't have 65 years to play games. Let's say I have 1 hour a day, generously, 1 hour a day, every day for 65 years to play whatever games I want. So we'll add up and see how many hours we have. 365 times 65, that's 23,000 hours. Seems like a lot, right? The average video game is 15 to 30 hours. So let's say that games on average are 22 hours. Let's do that. So I have 1,000 games to play. That's a lot. Okay, that's a lot. But that's a generous perspective. How many games have I played in my entire life? Probably upwards of 400, 500, 600. So I'm halfway there, you know what I mean? And I haven't finished most of those games. So if I could only play 1,000 games in my lifetime, time is ticking, man. And some games are not 22 hours long. Some games are like 120 hours. Dragon Quest 11 or The Witcher 3, for example, I've read that if you want to finish everything, it's like 120, 140 hours or something. Kingdom Come Deliverance, I played that game for about over 100 hours to get everything. Dragon's Dogma 2, I played that game twice through, got the platinum, and that was 100 hours flat. That, I spent 100 hours on that game. That's one game that took the space of, according to these calculations, 5 games. That reduces significantly over time. If I divide that again, then I have 16 games a year. And that's if I play an hour a day. Only playing games that I've never played before. 16 games a year. If we reduce that just a little bit, say I don't have an hour every day, maybe that's a game a month. 1 game a month. And that's a 22-hour game. If it's a 100-hour game, that takes the place of 5 games. 5 months. That's 5 months. Man. So when you put it into perspective, I don't have time to play every game out there. I don't have time to play every great game. This is not my job. This is just a hobby. I'm just playing games for entertainment. I'm playing them so that I can experience something new, so that I can, as I've said, expand my wisdom through proxy experiences, through stories, through other cultures and whatnot, and to play with friends. This is not counting. This is like single player campaign games. This is not counting online multiplayer experiences that try to lock you in. Potentially to my shame, I've played Overwatch since release for probably thousands of hours. I've logged in over 1,000 hours on Steam, and it's not the only game I play, but I play it a lot. I play it when I need something that's familiar, I suppose. Anyway, my reasons for bringing up this conversation is there are too many games in the world for you to feel guilty about not finishing all of them, not finishing all the greats, not finishing even a single one. Don't feel guilty about not finishing a game. If you're done with it, even in the moment, you might go back later, but if you're done with it, no guilt required. It's not a backlog. That term backlog is not a healthy term. It's just like, because it makes you feel like you've got this bag on your back full of items to complete. Backlog is a term used to describe things that are queued up behind the work that you're currently doing. It's not a leisurely term, and it brings with it that guilt of, oh, I haven't finished these things yet. These are the things that I have to finish. It's not your backlog. It's like a library. You go to the Steam library. This is your library of games. You go to a bookshelf. I have books there that I've read almost meditatively over the years. Of course, the scriptures, The Lord of the Rings. I read that every couple of years, the trilogy from start to finish. And it's something I enjoy doing. It's something I enjoy reading. I go back to games that I've played and beaten countless times. Shadow of the Colossus, Dragon's Dogma 2, like I said, the multiplayer game, Overwatch 2. I go back to games that I really enjoy, that offer me some sense of inner peace or harmony that even though I'm familiar with, I know everything that's going to happen, but it's just a wonderful thing to interact with and to enjoy. It's something that someone has poured their heart into creating, and that reflects through the end product. It becomes valuable by virtue of the person's excellence, by virtue of the implementation, the hard work that was put into it. Everyone who contributed to that work makes it valuable. It's a human creation. It's an expression outwardly displayed in a physical manifestation and a digital manifestation, if we're going to say that. So it's okay. It's okay to not finish a game. It's okay to not finish a book, to not finish a movie, to set something down and to never pick it up again, because our lives are temporary. My sand is falling through the hourglass, and one day I won't have any grains left to spend. So think about this. Think about the grains that you have, and it's okay. We don't have to panic about it. It's just a fact of life. It's just a fact of life that we all have to accept this. Think about the grains that you're spending, and if you're okay with that. Maybe you don't want to play games anymore. That's okay. Spend your time elsewhere. Maybe this is vital and important to you as a therapeutic mechanism. Maybe you don't take it that seriously and it's just a leisurely activity. Everyone needs to rest. The Sabbath was made for man, not man for the Sabbath. Everyone has to rest at some point. It's good for your brain, it's good for your mind, it's good for your body. After a long day's work, sit down, play that game, whatever it is, and don't feel guilty about it. Unless, of course, your conscience is telling you not to. Anyhow, if you enjoy these kinds of conversations, stop by again. I've got a lot of videos on the existential and how games can contribute to our understanding of ourselves, of humanity. And I like to talk about those things because it is important. It's important to value the silent and small things, to bring them bubbling up to the surface so that others can enjoy and appreciate those things. Thanks for watching. See you next time.